There's a darkness that lives in all of us, the part of the mind that whispers to stay comfortable, to take the easy path, to avoid struggle. It tells us we'll start tomorrow, that we've done enough, that the pain isn't worth it. But deep inside, there's another voice, quieter, older, forged in silence. It calls us to rise, to endure, to do what is difficult, not because it's easy, but because it's right. That voice is your higher nature, the part that the Stoics spent their lives trying to awaken. Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly." He understood that strength is not born in comfort, but in deliberate confrontation with discomfort. To make your brain crave hard things, you must rewire what it associates with reward. You must teach it that pain is not the enemy, it's the pathway. 1. Reframe pain as proof of power. We've been taught that difficulty means something's wrong, that struggle means failure, but a Stoic sees it differently. To us, pain is not a punishment, it's evidence of growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every time you meet resistance, the early morning alarm, the freezing shower, the heavy silence before starting something great, that's not your mind breaking, that's your old self dying. Pain is the furnace where discipline is forged. If you can shift your thinking so that struggle becomes a signal of progress rather than suffering, your brain begins to seek it. It starts to crave the burn because it recognizes that on the other side of that pain lies transformation. We don't build strength through easy mornings or perfect days. We build it when we feel the resistance and choose to move anyway. The Stoics called this voluntary hardship, deliberately doing what is uncomfortable to train the mind to obey the will, not the impulses. When you run in the rain, fast on purpose, or hold your tongue when anger rises, you're not punishing yourself. You're conditioning your soul. You're proving that you are greater than your emotions. And the more you do this, the more your brain begins to associate difficulty with power. That's how craving begins, not through pleasure, but through mastery. 2. Make discipline your default emotion. A Stoic doesn't wait for motivation. We don't ask, "Do I feel like it?" because feelings are fleeting, weak and deceptive. We act because it's time to act. Seneca once said, "He suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary." Most people suffer twice, once from the fear of doing the hard thing, and again from the regret of avoiding it, but those who train their mind learn to skip both. The secret is consistency. When your brain learns that every morning you rise, you work, you push, regardless of emotion, it stops fighting you. It begins to automate discipline. Like a soldier trained to move at the sound of command, your mind begins to move on duty, not desire. We are not meant to chase comfort, we are meant to command it. To remind ourselves that comfort comes after conquest, not before. So start small, wake up, and immediately do something your emotions resist. A cold shower, a workout, a moment of silence. Let the discomfort bite you, and then realize you survived it. That realization, that nothing bad happened, that you're stronger than the feeling, begins to reshape your brain's relationship with struggle. Soon, your mind begins to chase that feeling of control, that quiet confidence that comes when you conquer your impulses. And that's when the shift happens, when your brain starts to crave hard things not for the pain, but for the power that follows. 3. Align every hard thing with a higher purpose. The mind rebels when effort feels meaningless, but when every struggle becomes sacred, even pain feels like progress. The Stoics called this living in accordance with nature, aligning your actions with what is rational, purposeful, and just. You don't lift weights for vanity, you do it to build fortitude. You don't wake early to impress others, you do it to sharpen your mind before the world wakes. You don't embrace solitude to escape, you embrace it to meet the parts of yourself that fear being alone. When your actions are tied to something greater, your values, your principles, your duty. You begin to crave the difficulty that builds you toward it. Hard things stop feeling like obstacles and start feeling like initiations. That's how soldiers, philosophers, and kings in the Stoic tradition trained their minds. They weren't chasing dopamine, they were chasing dominion over themselves. 4. Reward progress, not pleasure. Modern minds crave instant reward, likes, comfort, validation. But the Stoic mind craves progress. Every time you endure what you once avoided, you must acknowledge it. Not with celebration, but with awareness. When you complete something difficult, whisper to yourself, "I did what I said I would do." That statement rewires the brain faster than any external praise. Why? Because you're teaching it to associate self-respect, not pleasure, with action. And self-respect is addictive. It's one of the few emotions that gets stronger with deprivation. The more you push yourself, the more you begin to crave that quiet pride. The pride that no one can see. The pride that comes from knowing you did the hard thing, even when no one was watching. To make your brain crave hard things, you must train it like a warrior trains his reflexes. Stop seeking what feels good now and start seeking what makes you strong later. Reframe pain, condition consistency, attach every struggle to purpose, reward progress over pleasure, and soon you'll notice something strange. What used to terrify you now energizes you. What once broke you now builds you. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. We all have that power. The question is, will we dare to use it? 5. Embrace the loneliness that precedes greatness. There is a silent truth that most never see. The path to strength, focus, and inner power is often walked alone. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't be troubled, and you won't be troubled." Life's trials are not what break us. They reveal what we truly are. We live in a world that fears solitude, that confuses noise with life and distraction with progress. Yet the quiet moments, the hours where no one watches, no one applauds, are where the mind is forged. True self-mastery is not found in the laughter of others, but in the stillness of your own company. Embrace the loneliness. Let it become your teacher. In these moments, your mind is stripped of illusions. Your emotions no longer mask reality. You see your weaknesses and your strengths with clarity. You confront the desires, fears, and impulses that have secretly guided your life. And when you face them without flinching, something profound begins to happen. You are no longer controlled by them. This is the essence of voluntary hardship, deliberately putting yourself in a place of discomfort to awaken the soul. When you choose solitude, when you accept the silence, you train yourself to crave nothing external. The mind that is not tethered to approval, distraction, or comfort is free. And freedom is power. Seneca reminds us, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. When we learn to thrive in solitude, we no longer crave the world's fleeting attention or empty pleasures. We find our strength within. And here lies the paradox. Those who embrace this loneliness, who endure the silence, become magnetic. Others are drawn to their quiet confidence, to the unshakable presence of someone who has conquered their own mind. What many chase in vain, attention, validation, fleeting admiration, is naturally attracted to the one who has first mastered themselves. So we choose solitude, not as punishment, but as preparation. We endure the discomfort of being alone because it teaches us discipline, resilience, and clarity. The world may never understand it, the masses may never follow, but we know the truth. The mind that thrives in loneliness becomes unstoppable, craving challenge, not comfort, and power, not approval. We are not afraid of being alone. We are not afraid of hard things, because in those moments, in the silence and struggle, the foundations of our greatness are laid. And when the world finally notices, it will see not someone who survived, but someone who was forged. If this video resonated with you, remember, mastery begins in silence, strength is built in struggle, and power grows when the world is unaware. Subscribe and join us as we walk the path few dare to tread. The journey is not easy, but it is worth it. Stay disciplined, stay relentless, and above all, stay unshakable.